Strange signals from the stars. The story of the Black Knight satellite does not begin in space, as one might expect. Instead, it begins on Earth, in the year 1899, inside the workshop of one of the greatest inventors of all time, Nikola Tesla. Tesla was a man obsessed with energy, electricity, and signals traveling invisibly through the air. He dreamed of wireless power and communication, long before radio and satellites became household technologies. One night, while conducting experiments with his high-voltage equipment in Colorado Springs, Tesla claimed he picked up strange signals from somewhere beyond Earth. At first, he believed they were natural, perhaps from the atmosphere or even from the sun. But soon, he began to suspect something far stranger, that the signals came from intelligent beings, possibly from Mars or beyond. Tesla wrote in his notes that the signals were rhythmic, patterned, and unlike any natural noise he had encountered. This was not random static, it had order, repetition, and structure. His instruments detected pulses that seemed to form a kind of code. Tesla, always forward-thinking, suggested that maybe humans were not alone in the universe, and that advanced civilizations might already be trying to contact us. But his claims were met with skepticism and even ridicule. Scientists of his time brushed it off as a mistake, claiming his instruments picked up natural cosmic radio waves. Yet decades later, researchers would look back at Tesla's notes and wonder, had he been the first human to detect the mysterious Black Knight satellite? As years passed, Tesla's strange signals were largely forgotten. But in the 1920s, the mystery stirred again. A Norwegian engineer named Jørgen Hals was experimenting with radio transmissions when he noticed something peculiar. His signals bounced back to him after a short delay, an effect later called long-delayed echoes. Normally, radio signals would travel across the Earth's atmosphere and reflect back quickly. But Hals observed that his signals returned seconds later, far longer than expected. This was baffling, and even today, there is no simple explanation for these echoes. Some suggested they were caused by irregularities in the ionosphere. Others, however, whispered about something more unsettling. Maybe an unknown object in Earth's orbit was capturing the signals and sending them back. Was it possible that Tesla and Hals were unknowingly detecting a hidden satellite? At the time, humans had not yet launched anything into space. The first man-made satellites wouldn't appear until the late 1950s, decades later. So the very idea of an unknown object orbiting Earth seemed impossible, unless, of course, it wasn't human-made at all. In the 1930s and 1940s, radio operators across Europe and America continued to report strange echoes, delayed signals, and unusual transmissions. While most scientists chalked it up to atmospheric oddities, a small number of thinkers speculated otherwise. Some wondered if Earth had a mysterious companion orbiting around it, one that was not natural, but rather a technological artifact left behind by another civilization. They pointed to Tesla's writings as the first evidence, followed by Hals' echoes, and then the increasing reports from other operators. It seemed like puzzle pieces scattered across decades, waiting for someone to assemble them. By the 1950s, the world had entered the space age. Humanity was looking to the stars with rockets, satellites, and bold dreams of reaching the moon. It was during this time that the whispers about an unknown satellite grew louder. In 1954, newspapers across the United States carried a sensational story. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the San Francisco Examiner reported that the U.S. Air Force had detected not one, but two mysterious satellites orbiting Earth. This shocked the public because, at that time, no country had successfully launched a satellite. The Soviet Union's Sputnik 1 would not launch until 1957, 3 years later. So what were these mysterious objects in orbit? Who had put them there? The reports described them as large, dark, and fast-moving. Some even claimed they were twice the size of anything humans could have possibly launched. The press dubbed it the Black Satellite. Officials quickly dismissed the story, suggesting it was likely a mistake by radar operators or confusion with space debris. But skeptics asked, what debris? There were no satellites yet, no man-made objects in orbit at the time. If something was truly circling Earth in 1954, it could not have been human-made. This is when the legend of the Black Knight satellite truly began to take shape. The name itself would come later, but the seeds were already planted. Tesla's signals, Hal's echoes, mysterious radar detections, all seem to point toward the possibility of a hidden, ancient satellite orbiting Earth long before humanity had the ability to put one there. Some researchers began to theorize that the satellite was not new at all but ancient, possibly thousands of years old. They suggested it could be an alien probe placed in orbit to watch humanity, much like how humans would later send probes to Mars or Jupiter to study them. Others went even further, speculating that the satellite might hold records or messages from an extraterrestrial civilization, left for us to discover when we became advanced enough to notice. Part 1 of the Black Knight satellite mystery ends here, in the 1950s, with humanity on the brink of space exploration, unaware that the greatest mystery of orbit might already be circling above. What exactly was the Air Force tracking in 1954? Could it be the same source of Tesla's strange signals? Or was it simply a case of human imagination running wild at the dawn of the space age? The answers, as we'll see in the next part, only grew more mysterious as NASA, astronomers, and conspiracy theorists entered the story. The phantom in Earth's orbit. The mid-1950s brought with them an era of excitement, paranoia, and curiosity. The Cold War was at its height, and both the United States and the Soviet Union were racing to claim dominance over space. Every radar detection, every unexplained signal, every mysterious object spotted in the skies had the potential to spark rumors of secret technology or, worse, extraterrestrial activity. In this climate, the legend of the Black Knight satellite began to grow roots and spread across the globe. The story truly ignited in 1954, when several American newspapers reported on mysterious objects orbiting Earth. The articles cited claims from the U.S. Air Force that 2 dark satellites had been detected. This caused confusion, even alarm, because no nation at that time possessed the technology to launch satellites into orbit. In fact, the first official man-made satellite, the Soviet Union's Sputnik 1, would not be launched until October 1957, 3 years after these reports. For the public, the question was simple but unsettling: if humans didn't put them there, then who did? The press was quick to sensationalize. Some journalists hinted that these objects could be Soviet in origin, secret, advanced technology hidden from the world. Others leaned toward more exotic explanations, reviving whispers of Tesla's mysterious signals and Jorgen Hall's long-delayed echoes. Could these strange satellites be ancient relics, silently orbiting Earth long before modern technology existed? The Air Force soon denied the reports, insisting that no such satellites had been detected. They suggested that radar operators had misread signals or mistaken natural space objects for satellites. But for many, the denial only deepened the mystery. After all, wasn't it convenient to brush aside such findings during the Cold War, when secrecy was the rule of the day? By 1957, everything changed. The Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first human-made satellite. For the first time, humanity had officially placed something into orbit. The space age had begun. But just as scientists and engineers celebrated this achievement, amateur astronomers around the world noticed something strange: an object in orbit that did not belong to Sputnik 1 or its rocket booster. The unidentified satellite was larger, darker, and faster than Sputnik. It wasn't accounted for in official records. Observers from the U.S. Navy's tracking stations and even amateur astronomers confirmed its presence. They described it as an erratic object, sometimes moving in ways that didn't match normal satellite behavior. This fueled speculation that something else, perhaps much older and far more advanced, was orbiting Earth alongside Sputnik. By 1960, the mystery deepened further. The U.S. Navy's radar detected a dark, tumbling object in polar orbit. This was particularly odd because, at the time, neither the US nor the Soviet Union had the capability to place a satellite into such an orbit. Polar orbits were far more advanced, requiring more power and precision than existing technology allowed. For conspiracy theorists, this was undeniable proof: an unknown satellite, possibly extraterrestrial, was circling Earth. The press once again seized the story. Newspapers described the object as a phantom satellite, or the Dark Companion. The public imagination soared. Some speculated it could be a spy satellite belonging to the Soviets. Others leaned toward the paranormal, suggesting it was the very same black satellite detected back in 1954, still circling above, hidden from official acknowledgement. NASA eventually issued an explanation. They claimed the object was nothing more than space debris from a failed satellite mission, likely a piece of the U.S. Discoverer program, which was part of a top-secret military reconnaissance effort. But skeptics were not convinced. Why had radar operators noticed it years earlier, even before Sputnik? And why did witnesses describe it as moving in ways inconsistent with space junk? As the 1960s unfolded, more sightings of the mysterious object were reported. Astronomers and military radar stations continued to detect anomalies in orbit, often described as dark satellites or unidentified objects. In 1963, astronaut Gordon Cooper reportedly encountered something extraordinary. During his Mercury Atlas 9 mission, Cooper was orbiting Earth when he claimed to have seen a glowing green object moving toward his spacecraft. Ground radar also picked up the anomaly at the same time. Cooper later spoke about the event, insisting that what he saw was real and unexplained. NASA, however, quickly denied the account, stating that Cooper had suffered from hallucinations due to excess carbon dioxide in his cabin. But those who knew Cooper found this explanation unsatisfying. He was a disciplined, highly trained astronaut, not the kind of man to confuse hallucinations with reality. To this day, Cooper's sighting remains one of the most compelling personal accounts tied to the Black Knight mystery. It was during this period that the term, Black Knight satellite, began to solidify. The name carried with it an aura of secrecy, darkness, and nobility, suggesting an ancient guardian silently watching over Earth. Conspiracy theorists proposed that the satellite might be thousands of years old, left behind by an extraterrestrial civilization either to monitor humanity or to preserve some kind of cosmic message. Theorists even tied the Black Knight to ancient myths. Some pointed to the Dogon tribe of Mali, who possessed advanced astronomical knowledge about the star Sirius long before telescopes existed. Could their knowledge have come from a satellite that passed information down in prehistoric times? Others suggested that ancient carvings and legends of sky watchers, or celestial guardians, could be linked to the Black Knight, orbiting above us long before recorded history. Meanwhile, the space race continued, and NASA kept launching satellites, missions, and probes. Each time a strange anomaly appeared on radar or a photograph revealed something odd in orbit, whispers of the Black Knight resurfaced. By the end of the 1960s, the legend had grown into a blend of documented radar detections, astronaut accounts, and tantalizing hints of ancient connections. But the most famous and controversial evidence would not appear until the 1990s, when NASA's own cameras seemed to capture images of the enigmatic satellite. These photos would become the cornerstone of modern discussions about the Black Knight, sparking endless debates between skeptics and believers. NASA's photographs and the firestorm of debate. The legend of the Black Knight satellite simmered for decades in the shadows of the space race, whispered among conspiracy theorists, amateur astronomers, and UFO enthusiasts. But it wasn't until the 1990s that the mystery erupted into mainstream attention once again, this time not through radar anomalies or astronaut testimony, but through photographs released by NASA itself. In 1998, NASA launched the STS-88 mission, the first space shuttle flight to the newly constructed International Space Station (ISS). The shuttle Endeavour carried with it astronauts, supplies, and modules critical to the ISS's foundation. The mission was heavily documented, with NASA releasing hundreds of high-resolution images to the public. Buried among these images were a series of photographs that would change the way people looked at the Black Knight legend forever. In these photos, a large, dark, oddly shaped object appeared to be floating high above Earth's atmosphere. It didn't resemble any known satellite, space junk, or piece of equipment. Instead, it looked almost alien in design, jagged, asymmetrical, and otherworldly. Its dark, metallic surface glistened faintly against the backdrop of Earth and the stars. When the images were first discovered by independent researchers combing through NASA's archives, they immediately circulated online, sparking a storm of speculation. Was this the long-rumored Black Knight satellite finally captured on camera? NASA, when pressed for an explanation, offered a straightforward answer: the object in the photos was nothing more than space debris, specifically, a thermal blanket that had accidentally drifted away during a spacewalk. According to their account, astronauts Jerry Ross and James Newman had been working outside the shuttle when the blanket slipped from the grasp and floated into space. The unusual shape and dark coloration, they argued, made the object appear more mysterious than it really was. On the surface, NASA's explanation seemed plausible. After all, astronauts frequently lose small objects in space, and thermal blankets are used extensively on spacecraft. But for many, the explanation raised more questions than answers. First, the object in the photographs appeared to be far larger and more structured than a flimsy thermal blanket. Its angles, contours, and bulk suggested something engineered rather than accidental debris. Second, if it were indeed a discarded blanket, why did it appear to be in stable orbit, rather than tumbling away or burning up in the atmosphere? Finally, skeptics pointed out that NASA seemed unusually quick to dismiss the photos, fueling suspicion that they were covering up something extraordinary. As the Internet blossomed in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the photographs spread rapidly, accompanied by sensational headlines. NASA accidentally photographs alien satellite. Proof of the Black Knight finally captured. Mystery object orbiting Earth hides in plain sight. The photographs became iconic within the UFO community. Forums, websites, and documentaries dissected every detail of the images, comparing the object's appearance to descriptions of the Black Knight given decades earlier. To believers, this was undeniable proof that the satellite was real, ancient, and still orbiting Earth. Skeptics, of course, pushed back. They argued that the images were being misinterpreted. Yes, the object looked unusual, but in the harsh lighting of space, even ordinary debris can appear alien. The strange shadows and reflections created by the sun's angle, they claimed, made the thermal blanket look like a massive structured object when it was not. Yet, despite these explanations, the allure of the photos remained powerful. Even today, the NASA images are among the most widely circulated evidence for the Black Knight satellite. For many, the photographs provided a visual anchor for a legend that had, until then, been based mostly on anecdotal reports and radar anomalies. Adding fuel to the fire, some researchers pointed out that the object in the images did not appear to match the characteristics of a floating blanket. Its shape shifted slightly across different photos, as though it were rotating in a controlled manner. Some even claimed they could see geometric patterns or panels on its surface, as if it were a designed spacecraft rather than random debris. The debate over the photographs soon tied into older mysteries associated with the Black Knight. Researchers drew connections between the NASA images and Nikola Tesla's mysterious signals from 1899, Jorgen Hall's long-delayed echoes, and the radar detections of the 1950s and 1960s. They suggested that what Tesla heard, what Hall's recorded, and what radar operators detected were all manifestations of the same object, now finally caught on camera by NASA. The story grew even stranger when enthusiasts linked the Black Knight to the long-debated transmission supposedly decoded from space. Some researchers claimed that the satellite had once transmitted a signal which, when deciphered, mapped out the location of the star system Epsilon Bootes, 200 light-years away. They argued that this was evidence the satellite was of extraterrestrial origin, possibly placed in orbit thousands of years ago by an advanced civilization monitoring Earth. For mainstream science, such claims were beyond the realm of credibility. But in the world of alternative research, the pieces seemed to fit together. Tesla's signals were no accident. The delayed echoes weren't glitches. The radar detections weren't mistakes. Gordon Cooper's sighting wasn't a hallucination. And the NASA photographs weren't just a thermal blanket. They were the latest chapter in an ongoing mystery stretching across a century. As the 2000s unfolded, the Black Knight satellite became a staple of documentaries, YouTube videos, and conspiracy forums. Its legend grew to encompass ancient astronauts, secret military cover-ups, and even suggestions that the satellite was a watcher, an artificial intelligence left behind to monitor Earth's progress. Some proposed it was a remnant of a long-lost human civilization, predating our recorded history. Others saw it as an extraterrestrial outpost, silently observing us until humanity reached a certain level of technological maturity. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Black Knight legend is its resilience. Each time skeptics provide a rational explanation, whether it's space debris, radar errors, or atmospheric phenomena, believers counter with new interpretations, linking the mystery to broader narratives of hidden knowledge and suppressed truths. And at the center of it all remain those haunting images from NASA's STS-88 mission, grainy, strange, and evocative. To some, they're proof of nothing more than human error. To others, they're a glimpse of the greatest secret orbiting above us, a silent sentinel from the stars. By the end of Part 3, the Black Knight satellite was no longer just a niche conspiracy, it was a global phenomenon, a story blending science, myth, and mystery into one of the most enduring legends of the space age. But as we move into Part 4, the question becomes unavoidable. Right finger, what is the final truth? Is the Black Knight a real extraterrestrial artifact, or is it the product of human imagination, woven from coincidences, errors, and wishful thinking? The final truth, science versus legend. The legend of the Black Knight satellite had stretched across more than a century, from Tesla's mysterious signals in 1899, to Jorgen Hall's delayed radio echoes, to military radar contacts in the 1950s, Gordon Cooper's 1963 testimony, and finally NASA's haunting 1998 photographs. Each chapter seemed to add fuel to the fire, painting a picture of a mysterious alien artifact orbiting Earth, hidden in plain sight. But when we strip away the myth and look closer, what do we really find? Telescope science's explanations. Mainstream scientists and space agencies have always leaned toward rational explanations for the phenomena associated with the Black Knight. 1. Tesla's signals, 1899. Tesla himself admitted that the signals could have been natural in origin. Modern scientists believe what he detected were likely pulsars, stars that emit rhythmic bursts of radio waves. These were unknown in his time, making his interpretation both fascinating and understandable. 2. Jorgen Hall's delayed echoes, 1928. Hall's strange echoes are now attributed to ionospheric radio wave reflection, signals bouncing between layers of Earth's atmosphere before returning with a delay. While mysterious in 1928, radio scientists today see it as a rare but natural phenomenon. 3. Cold War radar contacts, 1950s–1960s. During the dawn of space exploration, radars were prone to glitches, misreadings, and confusion caused by space debris or natural satellites. Many, unidentified, objects were later revealed to be classified military satellites, part of the secretive surveillance race between the US and the Soviet Union. 4. Gordon Cooper's UFO report, 1963. Cooper allegedly saw a UFO during a Mercury mission. NASA denies this ever happened, claiming it was misreported by the press. Cooper himself, later in life, did claim UFO sightings, but skeptics argue these came long after his astronaut career and were influenced by personal belief rather than hard evidence. 5. NASA's 1998 photographs STS-88 mission. NASA insists the famous black night photos show nothing more than a lost thermal blanket. Images captured from different angles show the object drifting away, eventually entering Earth's atmosphere. To space engineers, it's an everyday mishap. To believers, it's the smoking gun. The other side, why many still believe. Despite scientific explanations, the Black Knight legend has a powerful grip. Why? 1. The photographs look too strange. Even skeptics admit the NASA images don't look like a blanket. The sharp edges, panels, and structure-like appearance continue to fuel speculation. 2. Pieces fit the myth too well. Tesla's signals, Hal's echoes, radar blips, and astronaut sightings all seem to converge into a single narrative, an ancient satellite watching us. 3. Mistrust of authorities. NASA's quick dismissal of the photos left many feeling there was more to the story. History has shown governments often cover up secrets during the Cold War, so why not this? 4. The mystery of Epsilon booties. The alleged decoded signal pointing to the star system Epsilon booties makes the story feel purposeful, as if someone wanted humanity to discover the satellite's origins. Satellites are what is the Black Knight. The most likely truths fall into 3 categories. 1. Space debris. The scientific consensus is clear. The Black Knight is not a spacecraft but a combination of debris, misidentified satellites, and misunderstood phenomena. 2. A patchwork legend. Many mysteries, Tesla, Hal's, Cooper, NASA photos, were unrelated incidents later stitched together into a single story. 3. The possibility of the unknown. Yet, space is vast, and humanity has only scratched the surface of what orbits above us. The idea of an alien probe is not impossible, it's just unproven. Sparkles why the legend refuses to die. The Black Knight endures not because of proof, but because of imagination. It represents something deep in us, the belief that we are not alone, that history holds secrets waiting to be uncovered, that perhaps advanced beings are watching humanity's journey, waiting for us to be ready. Even if the Black Knight is just a thermal blanket, the legend itself has become immortal. It inspires books, documentaries, and countless theories, keeping our eyes turned upward, searching the stars for answers. Milky Way. The final word. Is the Black Knight satellite real? As a physical alien artifact, science says no. As a legend, a myth, and a story that challenges how we see the universe, it is very real, and perhaps just as important. Because sometimes, the greatest mysteries aren't about finding the truth, but about asking the questions that push us to explore further. Answer: the Black Knight remains, a silent sentinel in human imagination, forever orbiting between fact and legend.